Oh, here. Tom's on.
Tom Poker here.
Hi, Tom.
Howdy.
Hey, Tom.
Finally got it. Hi, Eric. It was, you're right, Rich. It was in the,
In your spam folder?
yeah. That's
Okay.
what it was.
Right.
Gonna have to figure that one out.
Okay, Rich, did we want to go out with a roll call first?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a quick roll call. I think I have everybody, but just in case, Bruce is here, right, Bruce?
Yes, I'm here.
Carl,
Yes, at present.
Cindy,
Here.
Beth,
I'm here.
Eric,
Here.
Eva,
Here?
Gene Horn. Is Gene able to join? Gene Horn? Nope. All right, Jen, yes.
Yep,
Jim,
I'm here.
Kylie,
Jim, yes. I'm here.
Lee McGonigal, Mitchell Smith,
Yep.
Orloff Bear.
Here.
I saw him. Yeah. Do you prefer to call you Bud? Is it you prefer to call Bud?
Yeah, they call me Bud, yeah. Yes.
Okay. Bob Van Valkenburg, Stephen Bradisich, Tom Polker. Yes, just heard him.
Here.
And Tony Pollock.
Yes, sir, right here.
Okay, thanks. All right, we're good. And if I do expect Jean said she can make it, so we'll see if Jean jumps on. I know that agenda says approval of June minutes. It's supposed to say approval of August minutes. Sorry about that. You have to I keep reusing agendas. So it's August minutes that are up for approval, not the June minutes.
Okay, would anybody like to approve the August minutes?
I'll make a motion.
If I could just ask you a favor, if you could just identify yourselves when you make the motion, so I can't, because it's
Tom.
hard to see who.
Tom.
That was Tom?
Yes.
Okay. Who seconds?
I'll second. I'll second.
I think I
Okay.
heard Bruce.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. You got that all, Rich?
I got that. I have 14 people. So it was 14. I got I got Tom making the motion, Bruce seconding it, and 14. So unanimous, 14 in favor. So, and I'll correct that agenda and make sure it says August minutes for the record. So.
Okay. So I guess we might as well go on with the next part.
I'm sending all these around by email, all these various trainings, but just I'll put them in the minutes for this meeting as well. There's one coming up in next week, wetlands training being done by the Hudson River Estuary Program. It's one of those 3-day trainings, similar to the stream one you did a couple months or a month or so ago, Jen.
Yep.
So I don't know if anybody had a chance to register for that. I know that they were sold out. I tried to register and I got put on a waiting list, and then they said a spot for me, but I just left it open for somebody else. So I don't know, it might be full at this point, basically. On Tuesday, I'm trying to find out whether this one you get credit for. On Tuesday, September 29th, there's a webinar on wastewater options for small communities. I will send that around. I just got that notice this afternoon. I was just trying to find out if it's available for training credit. There's a couple of ones coming up at PACE. There's a locally the local land use alliance program on affordable housing. It's 6 different dates in the morning, but you do get credit for that. It's on housing. I sent around that as well. It's October 22nd, 29th, November 5th, November 12th, 19th, and December 3rd. You have to be able to make all 6 dates for 2 hours. The other one coming up, we as you know, we usually do a fall training and a spring training with Columbia County and the Department of State. We did our webinars back in June with the Department of State as our spring trainings. Right now, there's a tentative date for Columbia County to do a training on October 26th in the evening. And I think they're going to do it on solar energy systems. That's what their county board wanted to do a webinar on. As soon as I get more information about that, I will send it around. But if you're interested, it's the evening of, I believe that's a Monday, October 26th, an evening webinar, which available for training credits. And there's the PACE Land Use Law Center annual conference coming up in December, but that does have a registration fee, but you do get credit for it. I think it's like $100 for a 3 or 4 day program. Again, all virtual programs. But again, I'll put all that in the minutes, and I usually send all that stuff around by email to make sure everybody has an opportunity to get their 4 hours of training that's required. So if you haven't done your training, we're already closing out at the end of this year. So if you can make sure you get your 4 hours in, that would be great. So we just make sure we have that box checked.
Rich, that training, you can be physically present for that, or is that going to be by phone or?
No, these are all going to be webinars. It'll all be done online. Again, I could send that information to Linda, and you can get it from her. You do need a computer usually for the webinar. Well, no, you could do it on your phone. You could download the apps and you could do Zoom on your phone as well. If you could download the Zoom app or some of the WebEx apps that the state uses.
All right. Okay, I'll figure that out. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
None of these are in person this year. I don't anticipate any being organized in person anytime soon. So not for the rest of this year, that's for sure.
Okay, thanks.
And that's it. On the training again, I'll put all that stuff in place. And I might as well just go right into just a couple of things to report on in terms of the planning department, and some of this again was sent around via email. The annual review of Ag District 24 has come around again already. There is the open enrollment period from October 1st to October 30th. So that has been sent out. The notice has been sent to the newspaper. It'll be in the newspaper this weekend. It has been sent all to village and municipal clerks to post and to share locally. If you guys could share with your local boards, just to get the word out. If anybody is interested in having their property become part of Agricultural District 124, there's a 30-day period where they need to submit an enrollment form to our office. Last year we did the 8-year review, which was much more involved. This is just the annual review, which is much simpler. Another thing that I sent around, and I sent to all the village clerks and municipal town clerks, is the awards. Awards are coming up right in this fall already. So if anybody has any ideas, we really want all the award nominations to come from outside, the department, outside of the county offices. So if you have any local projects, economic development, planning projects, any plans, anything locally that you think is worthy of some recognition by county legislature, please, that information is in the email, which nomination guidelines, which are flexible. It just really needs a brief paragraph of why you think they should get an award. It's fairly simple. It looks more complicated for the guidelines. But any questions about that, just let me know. And that deadline for that, we're looking at October 15th to have those submissions so that we could present those awards at the November legislative meeting. So the other thing I wanted to ask, I don't know if it works, I assume they're going to be Zoom meetings, is I don't know if people are available on the Tuesday for the next 2 months, October and November's meeting, to do them on Tuesdays. I might need to switch them. I have a couple of conflicts. So I don't know if people right now the meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, October 21st, and I might need to move it to October 20th unless people can't make it. Same with November 18th, might need to move to November 17th. So I just wanted to take a quick poll to see if the meetings for the next 2 months got switched from Wednesday to Tuesday, if that worked for people. But, maybe does it not work for anybody?
Good for me.
Which Tuesdays did you say? Because our normal planning boards are on Tuesday, the second Tuesday of the month.
It'll
So
be the third Tuesday.
this would be the
Instead of
third Tuesday. Okay, that should be fine then.
Yeah, instead of the third Wednesday, it would be the third Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody
All right,
else?
and anybody
Rob?
else have any potential conflict if the next two meetings get changed to a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday night? It will be a third Tuesday instead of the third Wednesday. All right, if you do, let me know. If not, I might try to juggle that a little bit.
Okay, that sounds good.
And that's it from my end. The only ag district thing, which I noted here, November 10th, there's the in the evening is the tentative date for the public hearing on the ag district. So I'm not sure how we'll do that. Probably have to. I'm not sure how we do public meetings right now. So we'll have to have that virtually, or how we're going to do that. I'm not really sure. That's to be determined. But
Okay,
we do
well,
have to.
that sounds good, Rich.
All right.
Okay, are we ready to go on to the referrals?
I think we are ready to go on to the referrals.
Okay,
So I
well,
know if you want to start with the 20-30 mark, and we can pull up the site map. If we could look at the site map first. Do you have the site map for that up? There's a site map for it. No.
Yeah, I see it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, just to kind of. No, that's 2031.
Sure.
2030. Well, anyway, so this is. Nope, that's 2031. All right, we'll just stick with this for now. Just if you don't see it, it was called the 2030 Site Map. GC Web Mapper was the title of it. But so this is a proposal in the village of Catskill. It's on. Oh, that's not a site map.
Huh.
That's a nice picture, but it's a nice, very nice picture, but it's not a site map. Beautiful dog. So anyway, this is the site plan for it. This is on New York State Route 385 in the village of Catskill. If anybody's familiar with the village, it's the old Ag Way. If you're heading out of the village, it's on your left. If you're heading down into the village, it is on your right. It's an old red building right on the roadside. The proposal is to convert it into a mix of commercial space on the first floor and apartments on the second floor. Obviously coming to the county planning board because it's on a state highway. There's a site plan review. The only issues that came up, well, it really didn't have a whole lot of details in terms of what the what kind of commercial it foresaw. It's proposing about 34 different parking spaces, about 6,200 feet of commercial space, 3,380 square feet of apartment space. And it looks like the other thing that came up was it looked like the apartments were going to be very small, 384 square foot apartments. So not even a 40 by 40, not even a 400 square foot. So a very small studio type apartments, it sounds like. Some of the parking at the rear of the property, where that parking is they're going to have to probably get some DEC permits. It's a bat foraging area. And the only other comment we thought was maybe just to have some landscaping. Excuse me 1 second.
Okay, this is about, I can't see the site plan, but just from your description, so many new apartments and parking spaces, we're talking about increasing traffic. Maple Avenue is not that wide. Are they talking about increasing the width of the road?
This is not Maple Avenue. This is 380. This is 385, which is actually.
This is
West Bridge
385.
Street.
You're confused. I think you're confused.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a different bill. That's further down. That's another referral.
Oh, okay,
I mean,
sorry.
Yeah, they are going to
Oh, West
get
Bridge Street. Okay.
What's that?
So West Bridge Street, where Agway used to be.
Yeah,
Correct.
It's West Bridge Street, Route 385.
yes.
Okay. Same comment, however.
Yeah.
Traffic to that light and, across the bridge and up that road with so many additional apartments. Is there a study being done?
They are going to have to get DOT permits for this to happen. This is a state road. In terms of there's no studies, traffic studies, they anticipate 10 to 20 new residents and 10 to 15 employees working there. So I didn't foresee an incredible amount of traffic. But again, the details in terms of what kind of commercial space was going to be there, what kind of business was going to be there, none of that was part of the site plan application. It did have, like I said, about 34 parking spaces. So, but if that's a recommendation you want to make, that they should have a traffic study, we could recommend that. But there was no traffic study submitted with this, nor was there any mention of doing any traffic study.
If I could,
I would think that's a significant increase in it might be different timing for the employees versus the people living there, and not everybody might have a car, but there should be some thought given to this.
just to say they're proposing 3 businesses for the first floor. One being a restaurant cafe type thing, another being a store to sell, almost like a convenience store type thing. And then also possibly an art store. There's parking for the first floor commercial. They'll be coming off of West Bridge. For the parking for the apartments, they'll be entering the parking lot through Broome Street, which is going to pick up some more traffic. But it didn't seem like a significant amount of increased traffic to have a study done.
Yeah, that was my sense as well. I didn't think it was going to be that significant of an increase. I mean, there was definitely going to be an increase, and perhaps making a left-hand turn onto Bridge Street might take a little patience for exiting that at certain times of the day. But, it didn't seem like there would be that based on like the details. Like I didn't have that information that Mitch just gave us, the number of businesses and so forth. I did not have that. The only thing I had was 10 to 15 employees were projected, and 10 to 20.
Well, if a DOT application has to be made, I'm sure somebody will either say it's okay or not. So,
and Mitch, are they going to be small studio type apartments? It seems like.
They are all 1-bedroom apartments. They didn't elaborate. We didn't get a detail of the apartments. We just got elevations of the outside.
Okay.
I'm a little bit curious as to whether or not any of these apartments are required to be handicapped accessible or adaptable. It doesn't appear as though the parking area has any. It looks like there are steps with a path. I'm just curious about that. I don't know if it may or may not be required, or how they're going to accomplish that if it is.
I think it is required by code, both for parking and for any kind of apartment buildings. I'm not sure right offhand. I would have to look it up. The residential code, whether there's if there's a small enough amount of apartments, whether they get excused. My gut reaction is at least one would have to be.
Yeah.
And definitely more parking spaces than just for one apartment, because parking spaces, the accessibility is per parking space proportionally.
Right.
Well, I mean, if that's a comment you want to add about just being ADA compliant as a part of both both the residential commercial space, making sure that they're ADA compliant.
Yes, I would. I wish you would.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we could certainly add that.
Okay.
In the storage building, the building over to the left, I believe there's going to be a ground floor apartment. Is that correct, Mitch? I mean, I think it's going to be two in that building. That's right there. There's a storage building.
And yes, I believe there is. There's one on each the first and second floor there.
Yeah,
I don't
so, I
know
mean,
if one of the parking spaces right in front there would be designated as a handicap spot. And that way they wouldn't have to navigate the stairs from the upper parking lot.
Right.
That might be
That makes sense.
if they met the percentage of units for accessibility and adaptability, that might be it.
Yep.
Looks to me like there's two handicap spots on the upper side.
Yeah, but that's the commercial parking.
Yeah, so about the lower lot here. There's two handicap spots up towards the road, towards the main road, towards West Bridge, but there's none in the residential parking lot. I didn't realize that they were intended to be separate lots until Mitch just mentioned that. I didn't realize that one was supposed. I mean, I imagine you'll get a mix. I imagine you'll get some people that will come in off of Broome Street and go to the businesses, and I mean, unless it's unless there's a permit required or something, I don't know how that's going to be managed.
From what she said, there will be a permit for that parking lot. So if you're going to use a commercial, you're going to be parking down below.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments?
All right, so just I'm going to add a concern about the handicap accessibility. And is that it, or do we want to mention anything, concerns about the traffic, or no? Or is that not, or just the handicap accessibility and handicap parking?
I will trust the DOT review that if they have a concern that they would take care of that. Since I can't see the site plan, I don't see all the entrances and exits. You said that there was a variety of entrances and exits to the parking area, so it might be that it's just that my telephone handicap. So if DOT has to put a stamp on it, they will certainly take a look at that issue, if it's an issue or not.
Mm-hmm. I think, and as I raised in the comments, were about the size of the, making sure that in terms of any kind of minimum dwelling unit size, that they are of adequate size for a dwelling unit, as long as the village is comfortable with that. They're smaller than the average studio apartment, so they're pretty small spaces. But.
Okay, well, would anybody like to make a motion to approve with the comments?
Yeah, make a motion, we approve the comments.
I'll second. Eva.
Who's second? All right.
Eva.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are we ready? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any have to oppose? Any abstaining?
I have to abstain.
Okay, Mitch abstains.
Okay.
Motion carries. Okay, Rich, and we'll go on to the next one.
This is, here's the site map. This is on Main Street in Prattsville. Also a state highway right away, Route 23. It is, the application came in for subdivision and construction. So basically we're just looking at it as a site plan, being that we are not authorized to, my understanding is to look at the subdivision element of it. It is a 8.8 acre parcel that's being subdivided for 2.481 acres to be used for a Dollar General. But again, we're not able to comment on the subdivision part of it, but since it's basically a site plan as well. And if we could pull up the site plan for it, Mark. Well, I guess it can't. All right. Let's see. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Route 23 is at the bottom. The entrance is the paved area is the darker area. The medium gray area is where the Dollar General is. That back rectangular area is a stormwater area. It is a 9,100 square foot store, approximately 30 parking spaces. Let's see, there's no zoning in Pressville, so it's not, although the application says that it is a permitted use under the zoning regulation. Maybe Jim, you could speak to that because I wasn't sure what that meant.
Not sure.
And what's that?
We don't have zoning, so I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, the application said that it's a permitted use under the zoning regulations, but yeah, I know there's no zoning regulations, so I'm not sure what they meant by that. So that was just one comment I had, but the other.
They meant that everything is okay.
Yeah.
If you have no regulations, then everything's okay.
So, I think the big issue with this is the flooding. It's in 100-year floodplain. At least that's the issue that came to light to me. I don't think there really is a traffic issue. The other small issue was the truck turnaround, which seemed kind of weird, the way they had the trucks turning around in that odd-shaped parking area driveway. Didn't seem great. So it's hard to, you can see that down the way it has the trucks coming in and backing into where people park. So you can have a truck going in, in and out of the area where people are parking to go into the Dollar General. So I don't know, that seemed a little odd.
That's what they did in the Caro one too, and they told us no trucks would come in during the daytime. Of course, they lied, but
right. Well, exactly. The trucks are going to come in whenever the trucks need to come in.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
so
and I think that might be common practice for these Dollar Generals because that's the same in the one in Tannersville as well. There's the driveway looks just like this does.
Yeah.
It comes in, the store's over on the left, it goes down past it, and trucks turn around in
The
that.
footprint is very similar to the one in Tannersville. The footprint of this one is similar to the one in Tannersville.
Right, that's exactly what it looks like, Jim. So.
Board should probably hold out for the same design standard that they did in Tannersville. Some of these just look like box stores, but some of them add extra design elements when told by the local planning board that they have to.
Yes, we did request wood out front beams to make it look better. Siding on the one side instead of metal siding. We want concrete all the way down.
I'm curious why they don't load up in the back portion of the building. It looks like they would have the turnaround ability back there.
Yeah, just because they've done it other places doesn't make it necessarily the thing to do. But that's what. Yeah, I mean that's. And again, it's very wet. This is a 100-year floodplain. This is all wetlands back here in the rear of the site. That's where they're proposing to manage stormwater, so that I guess not paving that area would probably be a good thing. But,
you only need 20 feet off the back of the building. Well, anyway, that's neither here nor there, I suppose. But
Well, doesn't it drop off behind there? Isn't that
It's quite a ways back.
that's where the wood processing place is right now, correct?
yeah, It's flatter by that section. As you go down, I guess further west, you have a more severe drop. But on this particular site, I don't know that they have that issue. I'm looking at a contour line here. I think that's a contour line up top. Yeah. Anyway, it looks pretty flat. But
Okay, one concern I would have, isn't that where they dumped all the stuff when we cleaned out for the flood?
Yes.
You know, all the refuse?
And that's been, they say it will have to be, that's one of our questions we had in our meeting, the compaction, whether it will pass. And that hasn't been done yet. So it could be a wash before they get started. So
that material's still there. All the appliances and metal are still on site?
Oh, no appliances. That was all hauled out with the metal, the cars. It's just the dirt. But it was all compacted after that.
I wonder what kind of remediation they did. There was a lot of questionable materials there, or especially liquids, oils and gasoline and all kinds of other stuff.
Yes, that was brought up too.
If they compacted that where it is, that's like a gas station that's been dumping for years.
Yep, all those tests have to be done yet.
I would be concerned about that if I was living nearby.
So there's some kind of site investigation. Jim, have you guys talked to them about doing some kind of any soil testing to make sure the soil is not contaminated?
Yes,
there you go. Put that in with comments.
The planning board did suggest that, and they are going to do that. That's their next step.
Smart.
Phase 1 and a phase 2 environmental.
Bingo.
Right. Yep. And
we'll start with phase 1 and see if we'll see how far it goes. Well,
okay.
I mean, maybe it could end up being a brownfield that needs brownfield remediation. It could end up being a brownfield, from the sound of it. Do we want to even though Jim said looking at all that stuff, do we want to just reiterate some of those comments we just mentioned? I mean, none of that was in the site plan application. The only thing I had to go on really was maps that I could look at, but none of the soil compaction or any kind of remnants of any kind of contamination. None of that was mentioned. Even in
Jim, just out of curiosity, how do the other merchants in town that are just getting back on their feet after Irene in the last 10 years, how do they feel about having the mini Walmart put up on the town there?
A few of them aren't very happy at all.
Say again? We
had, speaking of which, there were, a neighbor to that property came into the planning office today, Chris. Yes, he came into the planning, quite upset about this project. Gave me an earful about it, but not much that in terms of that were county issues. They seem like more local issues that he had with how the project was going forward, but and more kind of political than planning issues. But he did mention that the referral form said you had an anticipated public hearing back September 2nd. Did that happen? He said there was never any public hearing yet. Was there a public hearing on this yet?
Not yet, no.
No, okay.
We've been advised to wait on that.
I'd like to make a motion for a local decision with comments.
Okay,
I'll second. Cindy, I'll second that.
Who was second? You got to tell me who you are.
I said Cindy. I'm seconding.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear you.
Are we going to add comments about the environmental
yes.
phase 1, phase 2?
Yeah, because it might not go no place if you do the soil testing.
I mean, how would you guys, obviously those aren't part of the comments that I sent around. How do you guys want to handle that? You want me to just write up those notes based on this discussion and submit those comments, or do you guys want to see them first so you can see that I make sure I captured everything? Obviously, we can't wait a month till next month's minutes because that's too late. We got to get back to Town of Practicable before that. So either I can take the notes from the discussion tonight and send those in as comments, or does the board want to see those first before I send them in, being they weren't part of the staff memo I sent around?
I don't feel the need to see them. I trust you.
Send them in.
Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't want to make any assumptions, so whether you guys wanted to see them first. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so does anybody want to make a motion to accept it with the comments?
I think we did that.
They did
Okay.
that.
I think we
Okay,
did.
Carl
well-
made it.
Okay,
Yeah,
all in
we're ready for a
favor?
vote.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Anyone have to abstain?
Yes, Jim. This is Jim, I do.
Okay, well, motion carries.
Moving on.
All right, the next one is 28-32. This is the Gasland proposal, Gasland Petroleum in the village of Catskill. I don't know if you have the site map to show where it is first, Mark. There's an actual map that I sent, but I don't know if you have that map. But yeah, that one's good enough. But anyway, it's basically two parcels on Route 9W in the village of Catskill. On the left there, there's a Pizza Hut and McDonald's right across the street. Lacey Ford is just a little further, so it's further on the bottom left-hand of your screen there. That's Lacey Ford, just to kind of give you right on Route 9W. Right now, there's an existing rented to Cat's Rental, an equipment rental place, and there's a small sewing alteration shop there. The proposal is to put in a 4-pump island gas station with a 2,175 square foot convenience store. Maybe you can bring up that site map now again, Mark, if you would, please. There we go. So, yeah, a 4-pump. They tried to also obtain, there's another piece of property just to the north of that they tried to obtain as well. I think they wanted to put in more pumps, but they were not, Century 21 Realty is, but I don't think they were not successful.
Hey, Rich, who is Gasland Petroleum? Are they like a Cumberland Farm or Stewart's or something like that? Who are they?
Right. Yeah, they are. It's going to be like they're like a lot, but I think it's going to be a Sunoco station. My understanding, Gasland Petroleum is like a larger parent company.
From what I understand, they're a gas wholesaler from New Paltz, and they're trying to get into the retail.
Are they? And they're locally owned.
So yeah, locally owned New Paltz. Yep.
Okay.
Is there a parent? What's the name of the parent company?
That is
that's
the
a good
name.
idea. What is it?
That
Yeah.
is Gasland Petroleum.
Gasland
That
Petroleum.
is a parent. Okay.
So this is before they're looking for a use variance because it's in a commercial residential zone. It's not a permitted use in this area. And the consultant for the applicant, I thought, made a pretty good argument for meeting the use variance test part of that. But it seems to me, and I don't know if the village has considered this, Mitch. I mean, it goes back to the webinar we had in June. Grant the use variance versus actually making sure that the zoning, you have the correct zoning. And to me, it almost seems like it would be better to have it changed to the proper commercial C1 or commercial zone as opposed to issuing a use variance for a residential zone. But I mean, that's all commercial there. I mean, so I'm just not sure whether if the village is considering just changing the zone. And there's another concern was, well, as Eva already pointed out, I think there's going to be traffic concerns getting in and out of there. I wouldn't want to make a left-hand turn out of that station at certain times of the day. So I don't know if the village might want to consider no left-hand turn exiting that station, although some of those other businesses, you can see from the sign, they do make left-hand turns now, but now with additional traffic coming out of Pizza Hut, McDonald's coming out of the station, I think it's going to be, I could foresee another traffic light being there, frankly.
That's what the village is hoping for.
What was that?
That's kind of what the village is hoping for, that, you know, it'll be that much of an intersection now and they'll have to put a light up there, which could possibly help the lights up farther towards Walmart.
Right.
Yeah, because traffic does back up.
Big time.
Yep.
And the other concern was, it's hard to tell on this map, but there's some very steep slopes, and the village is requiring a retaining wall at the edge of that property where kind of some of that landscaping is, that I guess towards the top of the screen, but it's a very steep drop off there. And whether the retaining wall is going to be sufficient enough to kind of protect those properties that are downslope there. Was a concern as well, and whether, you know, a retaining wall is gonna do the trick. So, other than that, you know, it's a commercial strip. I know there was some local concern about the number of gas stations. You have a couple of gas stations just a little further to the south to that, and you have a new one going into the village at Stewart's, but this is on the northbound side, which seems to be advantageous in the village as opposed to the other two that are further down, southbound side.
They say that's the only one on 9W going north between Kingston and Ravenna.
Right. Yeah. So that is an advantage it has on the northbound side. Absolutely. So I don't know if there's any other concerns or comments, or what did I don't, so many referrals, I don't even remember what I recommended. A local decision comment, maybe?
I was just wondering whether there were any comments from the residential owners that are abutting that upper edge. So,
I did ask about that, and they say that the neighbors are, you know, on board or, you know, amenable to them coming in there. We haven't really gone through the whole process with this yet, so I'll be asking more about that in the future.
Yeah, you know, we don't get, you know, all that much feedback at the county level, so yeah, that would all be primarily through the local level. So yeah, the recommendation was, you know, local decision with comments. So I don't know if anybody wants to move this forward.
Well, would anybody like to make a motion to go with the local decision with comments?
Or if there's any other comments.
I'll make a motion, local decision with comments on this.
Okay.
I'll second it. This is Beth.
That was Carl and Beth, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed?
Bruce Heiser is opposed. We have one opposition vote. I don't think it's the right spot. I don't think I think it's gonna create a detriment to traffic flow, so I am against it.
Okay.
Do you want to add any additional comments, Bruce, in that regard? Or?
No, not really. It's just, in my opinion, it's the wrong spot to put it. It's just within a quarter mile each way we have gas stations, and and right there that traffic is backed up tremendously. I think it's going to be a hazard. So I'm opposed to it.
Okay. Does
Yeah,
anyone
I like that. I had part of the comments that I might consider no left turn out of there. I think that was my way to kind of address the comment that you can't make a left turn exiting the station. But
Unless they put their traffic light.
I'm all for business in this county, but that's not good. I think it's going to create more congestion, and cause more problems and do good for the community.
We can also add a comment because, those lights further south, that's always a problem. There's always congestion there. That the village look at this more a little holistically, that, how it's going to impact the traffic and how, what the longer term plans are to address the traffic. Because it'll take a long, even if they put a light, that's going to take a long time. If there's not a light suggested for there now or planned for there now, it's a state highway. It'll take years to get the state, to convince the state to put there. You'll have to have a couple accidents there first, probably. That's
sad to say, but that's what will happen.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's what has to happen. You have to have a couple accidents. Somebody has to get hurt, then they put the traffic light in. But
on the point of traffic, you're going to have, I understand there are, I guess, you've got Cumbies and you've got I guess it's a Hess station, but you've got to make a left turn from the northbound direction to get there. So this may actually increase the safety by avoiding all of those left-hand turns by having the position on the northbound side of the road. Just a observation.
Well, yeah. I think that is the big selling point, is that it's on the other side of the road. It's not, the other two stations just down the road are both on the southbound side, but there's still a more, greater traffic problem for that area. So we'll include, we'll emphasize that in the comments about, concern about traffic.
Okay, does anyone have to abstain?
I do, Mitch.
Okay. Mitch abstains. Okay, I guess the motion carries.
All right, great.
Moving right along.
The next one, hopefully the next one will be pretty quick. It's just for installation of a sign in New Baltimore. It's on County Route 61, right away. Highway Department. It's what's the name of that? It's I can't remember the name of the park. I didn't even write the name of the park down. But there's the park, the Scenic Hudson Park there. That's a different name of the different. That's not the name of the park. That's a different park. But I think it is.
No, that is the name of the park.
That is the name of the park. Okay, I thought it was from a different park. Okay, so Longview Park. And it is a much larger sign than what's allowed. So they're looking for an area variance. The sign is basically, let's see, what were the numbers? 4 times as big and twice as high. So the local code allows a maximum 12 square foot sign with a maximum height of 6 feet. The applicant wants to put in a 49 square foot sign that's 13 feet from the ground. So it's quite, so they're looking for an area variance.
Can you repeat that dimension again, Richard?
Sure.
What was the maximum?
The max height, the max square feet, the code is 12 square foot sign. That's the maximum square footage, 6 feet from the ground. This sign, that's the local code.
That's their local, okay.
This sign is proposed 49 square feet, 13 feet from the ground. So it's a big, and they argue that bigger is better because people will be able to see it better.
Right.
So, and let's see, hopefully you guys can't hear my dog snoring. There. Let's see, it's the Ag District piece of property, the park, Scenic Hudson Park. Our county highway department, as long as they're not, in the right of way, our county highway department was not concerned, and they did have some recommendations to make sure that they had room to plow the road and it wasn't going to interfere with their ability to plow. And as long as they're not building in the right of way, they don't need a county work permit. So other than the size, it seems like a considerably larger sign than what the town was thinking of, but I don't know if there's any other comments that
I would
people
think,
might have.
I mean, it's a park. It's for the benefit of the people. It's not profit. It's not profit motive. It's probably a not-for-profit. Yeah, Scenic Hudson's a not-for-profit. I would think, everybody would be amenable towards a variance for that type of application. You know, as I said, it's not like Dollar General looking for a huge sign like they did in Wyndham. They wanted one 3 times what we allow 4 times.
I must say they are. I mean, this is a black and white here, but other parks around, they are nice looking signs. They do. I think they do a nice job with their signs. So it's not like it's an ugly sign. It's just big, much bigger than what's allowed. So
bear with my ignorance, but shouldn't this be up to the town?
Well, yeah, that's why. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it is. That's why the recommendation is a local decision with comments, and it has to come to us because it's on the county road, and that's why the comments are, as long as it's not in the county right away, as long as it doesn't interfere with the county's ability to plow. You know, we could make comments about the size, because it is an area variance along the county road. But ultimately, yes, that's why the recommendation is local decision with comments.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, would anybody like to make a motion to accept the local decision with comments?
We'll make a motion.
Tom seconds.
I'm sorry, I just need your name.
Tom.
All right.
Tom seconded.
Got it.
Got it.
Okay, you all set, Rich?
I have Tom making the motion and Kylie seconding it. Is that right?
Yes.
No.
All right.
That's fine.
I thought I seconded it, but that's okay. No problem.
Okay, all in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Does anyone have to abstain?
Yeah, I guess was Gene ever able to join? No? Okay. All right, on to the next one. There's 2035. This is another kind of odd one where we don't really look at subdivisions. This is a proposal for an area variance for a subdivision in the town of Catskill that's on the border of the town of Caro. Again, probably, a local decision with making sure that the town of Caro is obviously involved in that decision. But, with some comments, not on the subdivision, again, because we can't comment on the subdivision. It's just, we didn't get, and the county doesn't often get these things. My main comment was usually for this kind of a variance, you need some kind of explanation why you need the variance. And it came with no explanation to the county so the town of Catskill should have some explanation, some way to, especially the rear yard variance, looking for a 97-foot variance right on the border on the town line. So like within 3 feet of the town border, so it's a very close development to that.
Rich, what is the use? What's the proposed use of the development?
Well,
He didn't tell you.
it's an area variance for a subdivision. It wasn't a proposed use. They tell you. I think that if you zoom in on that a little bit. I think that says it's a garage or something. A little storage building and garages. If you bring that down a little bit so I can see the top of the map. Yeah, storage building is where, right up top, that's where that variance, where 100-foot setback is required, and it's going to be 2.1 feet from, and that's basically what's right on the property line, right on the town borders between Caro and Catskill, and there's a 100-foot setback required, and they want a 97 point, whatever that is, line.
Are these all new structures? Are all these proposed new structures?
As far as I can tell, looking at the maps, again, we're getting very sketchy. We have very little detail at the county level. And they came with no explanation of what it is going to happen and why they need these variances. And we could have gone two ways. That we could recommend they need to send it back to the county with that explanation, so we have more detail, which will probably end up sending it back anyway as a local decision. Or we could just say local decision with the comment that the town should at least have an explanation of what they're doing and why they need these variances. I didn't
Sounds
get
good.
that.
I agree with
I
that.
didn't get that. So, but I don't want to delay the process because ultimately it's probably going to go back as a local decision with no county impact. But the comment could go either way. We could say send it back to us with that explanation, or we could say make sure you get the explanation.
Yeah, I like option
The
one.
problem that I'm asking about the use, this is Eva, is because I remember we had a prior application over here, something about a shooting business in that neighborhood. I don't know how close that was going to be. A shooting range of some kind. That was a while back.
Yeah, that was Black Dog something.
That's
This is the
Sheepdog
game farm.
Warrior, and I believe
Yeah,
it's
Sheepdog Warrior. This is the old game farm.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, as far as we're concerned, though, it's insufficient information about what they're asking, correct?
I agree.
Yeah, so actually, you could go either way with it. You could say we need more information, and I think ultimately it's probably still going to be sent back. We're not without really significant county impact. So we could just send it back and say, make sure you guys get the explanation. Reading as to what the use is and why they need those area variances, why this building can't be moved so it meets that 100-foot setback. I don't know why it needs to be right there so close to the town border.
Well, it says they're putting a new mobile home to be placed where an existing mobile home is. So they're just replacing.
No, that's a different. That's
a
the next
different one. Okay, never
That's
mind.
I guess there's some kind of fencing. There's already an existing fence area around this property, and they're going to use the existing fencing. But that's generally along existing wooden fence is where they're going to subdivide. But again, we're not commenting on the subdivision because we don't have subdivision review at the county level. It's just the area variances, which again is even odd to me because area variances are usually associated with buildings, not with subdivisions. So the whole application didn't completely make a whole lot of sense to me. But again, I don't want to uphold the process for moving forward unless you guys feel strongly we need more information. I mean, I felt like I needed more information, but I'm willing to say, just make that comment that this proposal really didn't have the information that is necessary, and the town should make sure they have it before they make a decision.
I agree.
Sounds good, Rich. Do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody want to accept that motion or accept that and make a motion?
Tony will make that motion.
Okay, a second.
Bruce Heisler.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone have to abstain? Motion carries.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think it's the next one that is the mobile home going on the same parts, which, yeah, this 20-36, as you can see from this ortho image where the existing home is, they just want to replace the mobile home, which already has those variances in place. So they're just putting in a new mobile home in the same location. And they need to get the side yard and side yard variances for it on both sides of the house. So, which again, there's really no county impact. So it's just a local decision, no county impact.
You know, it would seem to me like they're simply replacing an existing non-conforming structure. And unless there's some type of discontinuance provision that they outlived, I don't even see why that would be a variance. I'd like to make a motion to approve as a local decision.
Okay. Anyone like to second that?
Mitch will second that.
I'll
I like
second.
the second one.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
I,
Aye.
I had the same question, Carl, as to why it was even, but anyway,
Yeah.
that's why it was just
Yeah.
local decision.
Okay,
All right, 2037 is construction of 2 or more self-storage buildings on a site. They just have 2. This is right on Route 9W in New Baltimore, and in the Route 9W right-of-way. That's a site plan review. The 1.7 acre parcel, about a little over half an acre being developed. It's a commercial zone. It really had no county impact. I had a local decision with comment. I don't even remember why I even had a comment. What was the comment? Oh, just that it could use some. That they had no landscape plan, and the storage buildings could use some landscaping, to shield, maybe do some site from Route 9W. But that would be a comment if you want to take it. Otherwise, there's no county impact.
I have just the nightlight lit now. So.
I'm in a meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Any comments, concerns about that one?
Nope.
Okay, anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Eric, I'll make the motion. Tony, make the local decision with comments.
Okay, anyone like to second that?
I'll second it, Cindy.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Anyone have to abstain?
No.
Carries.
Okay, that was when we just looked at. Well, that was when we just looked at. But anyway, 2038 is again on the Route 9W right away. That's not it. That's 2037. There's leave that out for a minute. So that's the parcel. It is zone commercial. It's in the Route 9W right away. It is for a licensed, registered automobile repair shop, hobby shop, that the owner wants to build. It's a permitted use in this zone. It's a site plan review because it's in the Route 9W right away. Really no county impacts per se, other than hard for me to point out, but there's a little triangle right at that intersection with Browns Crossing Road. There's a small triangle right there that the county owns, and Mr. Grassi's in the process of trying to obtain from the county, so to be able to have, I believe, have better access to the property. So that's not really a county planning board. That's something that's being handled by our real property folks and our county attorney to transfer that process and whatever needs to be done there for that small triangular piece for Mr. Grassi to obtain that from the county. But other than that, no real county impact. If you bring up that other slide, environmentally, the whole site is not that one. Well, that's the site plan for it. Nope, go back one. It's in a biodiversity area. But if you go back to that site plan, you can see a little bit more about what the actual site plan. Yeah, there's the site plan. I think you can see what he wants to build.
Rich, how close is it to the Wilsonville Creek and that small streams going into it?
I don't think, when I looked at the streams, I don't think it's, there's a very small piece of state wetlands that are on a very small portion of the northern part of the site, but there's not, I don't think it's, I'd have to pull it up, but I don't think there were any streams that were being impacted that I could see. I'd have to go back and look at a map, but I don't recall. I usually check all that stuff, and I don't recall seeing any particular streams running through the property.
I know we looked at that area for a different application, and it was right following that seminar on the small streams, et cetera. So it's on my mind whether we have to take care.
I'll double check it.
Appreciate.
Any other comments?
No, does anybody
All right,
have any
we wanna-
they want to add?
Are there any special requirements because it's going to be a repair shop and regarding the proposed use, regarding the impact on the biodiversity area?
That'll depend on local laws, but I don't know if there's any local laws in the town of Catskill that probably not. I don't know. That's again not a county issue. That would be locally, whether they have any.
If I gotta ask a question. If they designated it a biodiversity area, some agency is responsible. Otherwise, why designate it? So in other words, you have a watershed. It's, governed by DEP. What is the biodiversity area governed by?
It's not a regulated, it's done by DEC, but it's not a regulated, it's not like it's a state regulated wetland or something like that requires any kind of permit or of any sort. It's not, unless there's some kind of state regulation or local regulation, which there's not regarding.
Okay.
Unless I don't think there's any particular, critical habitat or anything like that. So that's not, I don't think it doesn't rise to the level of any kind of state permit. Like a state, if they were impacting a state regulated wetland or encroaching on a stream or, a floodplain or something that certain regulations.
So
is anybody familiar with that area?
Yeah,
Is there standing water? Is there standing water?
It's a dry area, and it's been harboring dumpsters for Farrell's plant. He had dumpsters stored there for years. So this would be a great asset, changing it from what it was.
Okay.
Hey.
So I'll make a motion to accept, to approve with comments.
I'll second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone have to abstain? Motion carries.
And okay, the last one is also the town of Catskill. This is some built a shed. You can just leave it out for a minute. It's on County Route 47. Built a shed some 20 years ago, wants to sell the property, but you can see right up the top portion of that, the small blue, there's a shed right 1 foot from the property. Now, it didn't require an area variance when he built the shed, but now he's trying to sell the property. Town wants him to get an area variance. So,
Good grief.
no county impact. That's way off the county road. The shed is there. He was like, it's either that or he's going to have to rip the shed down, just leave the shed.
It's another non-conforming pre-existing condition.
Can we just say we don't care?
Ditto.
I just want to store my lawnmower in the shed. That's my only requirement. No.
Hey, the mice need a place to hide in the winter.
No county impact, local decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, who made the motion? I didn't get who made a motion or seconded it or anything.
You thought you did.
Oh, but I can't.
Cindy did.
Cindy will make the motion.
All right, we're getting loopy here.
Do we even need motions? Do we even need motions when we don't care?
No.
Make a motion not to care, and I might put that in the minutes.
I second that.
All right, I'm going to put some random names in.
Okay.
Okay, what do you got here?
No, Cindy said she made the motion. Who seconded?
I'll second,
Second.
Jen.
Okay,
Okay.
all in favor then?
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody's
Anyone
voting no,
opposed?
right? Okay.
No.
All right. So what? All right, now everybody's favorite motion. The
Motion to adjourn.
Yes.
I'll second.
Yes.
Third.
Aye.
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 Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good
Aye, thank you.
Good night.